Okay, so today we're going deep on a topic that's been in the news a lot lately,
Yeah,
homophobic bullying in schools.
absolutely.
And you sent over a research article that looks at this from like this big picture perspective, right?
Right.
Like for the individual kid all the way up to the whole society.
Yeah, a really fascinating approach.
Yeah, so our goal today is to sort of pull out the key risk
Yeah,
factors, the things that make this bullying more likely to happen, and then, of course, the things that can actually help protect kids.
right. The protective factors.
Yeah,
And
and like really understand how they all fit together.
exactly, because it's not just one thing, right? It's like this whole web of influences.
Right,
I
exactly.
think it's complex.
So the article you shared is from 2012.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2012, and
Like,
it's called Risk and Protective Factors for Homophobic Bullying in Schools, an application of the Social-Ecological Framework.
okay, wow, yeah, that's a mouthful.
It's from the Educational Psychology Review.
Okay,
And it was written by Jun-Sung Hong and James Garbarino. And what's really cool about this study is that it uses something called Uri Bronfenbrenner's ecological systems theory.
okay, so what's that all about?
Basically, think of it as like these layers of a person's environment, right?
Mm.
You've got the immediate stuff like family and friends,
Okay.
but then it goes wider to things like the community and even the whole culture.
Right,
And
yeah.
all of these layers, they interact and they kind of shape how someone develops and what they experience.
Got it.
So this article uses that framework to organize a ton of research that's already out there about homophobic bullying.
Okay, so for our listeners, like, why does all this matter?
Well, because it's about creating safer schools, right?
Yeah.
Whether you're a parent or a teacher or even just someone who cares about kids,
Mm.
understanding the roots of this bullying can help us prevent it.
Exactly.
All right.
So let's jump in. Let's start with the individual student.
Okay.
Like, what makes some kids more vulnerable to this kind of bullying?
Right. So at the individual level, there are two big factors that come up over and over again,
Yeah.
sex and sexual orientation.
Okay, those make sense.
So research shows that people who identify as gay males, lesbians, or bisexual females,
Yep.
they're at a higher risk of being bullied specifically because of their sexual orientation and how they express their gender.
Right, right.
But here's something interesting when we look at who's actually doing the bullying.
Mm-hmm.
Adolescent boys, particularly in high school,
Yeah.
they're more likely to be involved than girls.
Yeah.
They also tend to use more prejudiced language, and they're less likely to be friends with kids who are sexual minorities.
That's pretty disturbing, but I guess not totally shocking
Right.
given, societal expectations and all that.
Yeah, definitely.
It's also interesting that the research points out that teenage girls tend to be more compassionate towards bullying victims,
Yes.
including LGBTQ plus youth.
Yes, that's a consistent finding.
So it seems like gender socialization plays a role on both sides of this issue,
For sure.
the bullies and the victims.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's talk about sexual orientation, because this is where things get kind of surprising.
Yes. This is fascinating.
The research suggests that kids who are still figuring out their sexual orientation,
Right, the ones who are questioning.
yeah, they actually experience more homophobic bullying than both their heterosexual peers and those who identify as LGBT.
It's true.
So that's kind of unexpected,
It
right?
is. It's like the kids who are still exploring.
Yeah.
They're the ones getting hit the hardest.
Yeah. Why do you think that is?
Well, one theory is that kids who've already come out,
Mm-hmm.
they might have better support systems in place.
Okay.
Like within the LGBTQ plus community or among allies.
Right.
And that support can kind of buffer them from the negative effects of the bullying.
It's like a shield almost.
Exactly. And they might have also had more time to like explore and accept their identity,
Yeah.
which could make them more resilient.
So the kids who are still figuring things out,
Yeah.
they might be more vulnerable because they don't have those same supports.
That's the idea.
Okay, so that really highlights the need for better support for those students,
For sure.
especially in schools.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's move beyond the individual kid now.
Okay.
Let's talk about their immediate surroundings, like their friends and their school.
Right. The microsystem.
Yeah. What are some of the risk and protective factors there?
Okay, so peer groups.
Yeah.
Huge influence.
Of course.
They really set the social norms,
Right.
and that includes attitudes about sexual orientation.
Okay.
So research shows that if there's a lot of negativity in a peer group,
Mm-hmm.
it can make using anti-gay language seem normal.
Like it's no big deal.
Exactly. And even just a few negative kids
Really?
can change the whole climate of the group.
Wow. So it's kind of like a ripple effect.
It is like a social contagion almost.
Mm.
And then there's this thing called the homophily hypothesis.
Okay, what's that?
Basically, it says that people tend to hang out with others who are like them.
Birds of a feather.
Right, so if a kid is homophobic, they're more likely to be friends with other homophobic kids.
And that just reinforces it.
Exactly. It creates this feedback loop where those negative attitudes get stronger and stronger.
So it's like they're all egging each other on.
In a way, yeah.
Okay, so what about the school environment itself?
Okay, so the overall climate of the school is super important. When kids feel like they don't belong, like they're not connected to the school, that's linked to both being bullied and bullying others.
Okay, that makes sense.
And for LGBTQ plus students, schools are often places where they hear homophobic remarks.
Right.
Or they're excluded socially or even physically harassed.
That's awful.
It is, and it's a problem.
So there's certain types of schools that are safer.
Well, there are some interesting findings.
Okay.
Larger schools and schools with more college-bound kids, they tend to be more accepting of sexual minority students.
Really?
Yeah, and this is kind of surprising, but large urban high schools with more low-income students and students from racial and ethnic minority groups, they've actually been linked to lower rates of homophobic bullying.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, and even less truancy among LGBTQ plus students.
So it's like diversity can actually be a protective factor.
It seems that way, yeah. It might be that in those environments, there's just more exposure to different kinds of people.
Right.
And that leads to more tolerance.
Okay, so what about the adults in the school?
Right. The teachers and staff.
Yeah, how do they influence this?
Well, their involvement or lack of involvement is huge. If teachers aren't trained to recognize and deal with bullying, or if they just look the other way, it makes the problem worse.
Of course.
But when teachers actively support kids who are being bullied, those kids, especially the LGBTQ plus ones, they report feeling safer and more connected to the school.
Okay, so teachers can really make a difference.
Absolutely.
Just by taking action.
Yes. And gay-straight alliances or GSAs.
They've also been shown to be protective.
Yeah.
Those student-led groups.
Yeah.
They can reduce homophobic bullying and improve the school experience for LGBTQ plus kids.
That's great. But the article also mentions that some teachers feel unprepared to deal with this kind of bullying.
That's right. They might be worried about backlash from parents or other staff.
Or even the kids themselves.
Exactly.
So they need more support and training.
Definitely.
Okay, so let's zoom out again to the exosystem. The stuff that's outside the immediate school environment, but still affects it.
Exactly.
What are some key factors there?
So the broader community environment is a big one.
Okay.
And the media.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Research shows that LGBTQ plus kids who live in communities with high poverty rates, they tend to experience more homophobic bullying.
So it's like the community's problems spill over into the school.
In a way, yeah.
What about communities with more college-educated residents?
Well, those kids report less victimization at school. So education might be a protective factor.
It seems like it, yeah.
And the media.
Right. So the media is super powerful. It shapes how people view LGBTQ plus youth.
Right.
And unfortunately, sometimes it reinforces heteronormativity, which can create a climate where homophobic bullying is more accepted.
It's not a big deal.
Right.
But there's also good news.
Yes.
Positive portrayals of LGBTQ plus characters can actually improve public perception and maybe even reduce bullying.
Yeah, representation matters.
Absolutely.
And the article also talks about the need for educators to be more media savvy.
Yes, they need to understand how media influences kids' attitudes.
Right.
And they should be using educational media to promote tolerance and understanding.
Yeah, like showing kids movies or TV shows that portray LGBTQ plus people in a positive light.
Right.
And of course, schools should have policies that restrict access to violent or discriminatory content.
Absolutely. Right.
Okay, so now we're at the biggest level, the macro system, the whole society.
Yeah, the big picture stuff.
Right.
So what are the key factors here?
Well, one of the most important ones is gender role nonconformity.
Oh, okay. So what does that mean exactly?
It's about how society expects boys and girls to behave.
Right. Like traditional gender roles.
Exactly. And heteronormativity doesn't just dictate who you should be attracted to. It also says how you should act, dress, and express yourself.
Right. Like boys should be masculine and girls should be feminine.
Exactly. And kids who don't fit those molds, they're at a much higher risk of being bullied.
So it's not just about being gay or lesbian.
No.
It's about not fitting into those rigid gender stereotypes.
Exactly.
And that can affect anyone,
It can.
straight
Yeah.
or LGBTQ+.
Yes.
So a boy who's not super masculine or a girl who's not super feminine,
Right.
they might be targeted with homophobic bullying.
Even if they're not actually gay.
Wow. That's really messed up.
It is, and it shows how harmful those stereotypes can be.
Yeah, they hurt everyone.
They do.
Okay, so what about laws and policies?
Right. So even though federal law in many places supports school safety, it often doesn't have specific protections against bullying based on sexual orientation or gender identity.
So there's like this loophole.
Yeah. And as a result, LGBTQ plus students are still facing a lot of harassment.
That's terrible.
It is. And the 2009 National School Climate Survey, it found that very few schools actually had comprehensive policies.
Really?
Yeah, policies that specifically addressed sexual orientation, gender identity, and gender expression.
So there's like this gap in protection.
Exactly. And that can create an environment where homophobic bullying thrives.
Wow.
And then there's this other issue.
What's that?
Some states have actually tried to weaken their anti-bullying laws.
How?
Well, they've added amendments that could be interpreted as protecting the right to bully based on religious beliefs.
Seriously?
Yeah, it's a step in the wrong direction.
For sure.
But there's some good news, too.
Okay.
There's this thing called the Safe School Improvement Act, which would require all schools that get federal funding to have comprehensive anti-bullying policies.
Okay, so that would be a big step forward.
It would.
Okay, so taking all of this into account, what's the takeaway?
Well, the main takeaway is that homophobic bullying is not just about individual kids.
Right.
It's about the whole system.
The whole social ecology.
Exactly. And so solutions have to address all those different levels.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So for people working directly with kids, they need to understand the dynamics of peer groups.
Okay.
And how those dynamics can contribute to bullying.
Right.
And we need to adapt the successful whole school intervention program.
The ones that work for general bullying.
Exactly. We need to make them specific to homophobic bullying.
Got it.
And we need to teach kids how to be upstanders.
Yeah.
How to safely intervene when they see bullying happening.
That's so important.
It is.
Okay, so what about creating a school climate that doesn't tolerate homophobia?
Right. So we need training for teachers and administrators on LGBTQ plus issues and bullying prevention and strong support for GSAs.
Right.
And we need to make sure those anti-discrimination policies are being enforced.
Yeah.
And schools should partner with community organizations that support LGBTQ plus youth.
Right.
And teachers need to examine their own biases and get training so they feel comfortable dealing with these sensitive issues.
That makes sense.
And then at the school-wide level, they should think about implementing programs that promote healthy identity development and acceptance for all kids.
Like what?
Well, there's the American School Counselor Association model.
The ASCA model.
Yeah, that's one example.
Okay, so what about the community?
So in community level, we need collaboration.
Between who?
Between social workers, community leaders, and school officials.
Okay.
They need to work together to advocate for programs and policies that support LGBTQ plus youth. And everyone needs to be aware of how powerful the media is.
Yeah.
Educators especially. They need to understand how media can influence kids' attitudes.
Right.
And they should be using educational media to promote tolerance and positive representations of LGBTQ plus people.
Yeah.
And we need to restrict access to violent or discriminatory content.
On all platforms?
Yes, everywhere.
Okay, and finally, at the societal level.
Right. The big picture.
What can we do?
Well, we need to challenge those deep-seated norms.
Like what?
Like hegemonic masculinity and heteronormativity.
So basically those ideas that men have to be dominant and everyone should be straight.
Exactly.
And those norms, they contribute to homophobic bullying.
They do.
So we need to dismantle them.
Yes, and schools need to figure out how those norms are playing out in their own environments.
Okay.
And they should be assessing student attitudes to develop effective anti-bullying programs.
Got it.
And we need strong anti-bullying policies at the district level that specifically protect LGBTQ plus students. Yeah. And those policies need to be enforced.
Consistently.
Yes. And we also need to look at dress codes because sometimes they reinforce those rigid gender roles.
Right. They can be really strict about what boys and girls can wear.
Exactly.
And that can actually contribute to the problem.
It can.
Okay. So it sounds like there's a lot of work to do.
There is, but it's important work.
Absolutely.
Huh.
So to sum up,
Yes.
homophobic bullying isn't just about individual kids being mean.
Right.
It's a complex problem with roots in peer groups, school environments, communities, the
Yeah.
media, and the whole culture.
It's all connected.
Yeah. And the lack of clear protective policies makes things worse.
It does.
And we need to remember the kids who are still figuring out their sexual orientation, they're fairly vulnerable.
They are.
And gender nonconformity,
Yes.
that can be a trigger for bullying,
For sure.
regardless of a kid's actual sexual orientation.
Absolutely.
So this research really shows us that these influences are all dynamic.
They are.
They can change.
And we can change them.
Right? We have the power to create more supportive and affirming environments for all kids.
Especially LGBTQ plus youth.
Exactly. So here's a final thought.
Okay.
We know that acceptance is crucial for human well-being,
It is.
and rejection can be really damaging.
Absolutely.
So how can we build a world where everyone feels accepted and valued?
That's the big question.
Yeah, and it's not just about schools.
No.
It's about our communities and our whole society.
It's about changing the culture.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we encourage you to think about these issues
Yes.
and how they play out in your own life.
Mm-hmm.
And what can you do to make a difference?
Even small actions can have a big impact.
That's right. So thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope it's given you a lot to think about.
We hope so.
And we'll see you next time.
See you then.